What's up, guys? It's Teague from Battle City Games. Konami did it. They dropped the ban list, and would you believe it? Engage is finally back. They finally gave us what every Sky Striker player has been asking for months now. Engage is at 1, and this deck is ready to be one of the best decks of this format. So we're going to go ahead and dive on in, but before we do that, don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, like it and subscribe so you don't miss out on our future content, and let me know what you think of Sky Striker for this format. Do you think that it's going to be a contender? And do you think that the going first or going second variant is the better version of the deck? Alright, let's go ahead and get started. First up, of course, you have 3 Sky Striker Ace Bay. Can't play Sky Striker deck without her, as she is your key to everything. Moving on from there, we have double Sky Striker Ace Rose. Some people like to play her as a one-of, but with Desires being in the deck, I prefer to play 2 just to make sure I don't banish my only copy in most situations. And you do need a Sky Striker monster to get started with everything, so I decided to go with 2. Now we are on the going second variant of the deck, which means we have 1 Dino Wrestler Pankratops in here. Just one of the absolute best cards you can play in any going second deck, as summoning him means that you're going to usually eat through at least 2 of your opponent's disruptions or interruptions, and a great card all around. That's going to do it for the regular monsters. Moving on into the hand traps, which Sky Striker does play quite a few of. We have triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Just still one of the best all-around generic hand traps. We have triple Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. Guys, this format is really shaping up to be very graveyard dependent, with decks like Sky Striker, Tri-Brigade, Eldritch, all of those really interacting with their graveyards quite a bit. Even Drytron tend to use their graveyard quite a bit. So I really think Ghost Bell is actually going to be one of the best hand traps you can play this entire format. From there, we are also playing 2 Effect Veiler. He's better this format than he has been a lot recently, and also he's a spellcaster, which makes him work well with Celine to get into our Access Code Talker OTK. That's going to do it for all of the monsters in the deck. Now to get into the spells, of course, we're going to have triple Widow Anchor. Just a fantastic card that lets us negate effects and take control of our opponent's monsters. Absolute must-have at 3 in the deck. I have chosen to also go with triple Area Zero. Some people like to play this at 2, but I feel like it just gives you so many more options having 3. You get to dig into your deck when you have this card available, and the ability to really get to that Ray is crucial. Most of the games that you're going to lose are actually going to be games where you don't have access to Ray in your opening hand, so Area Zero just increases your odds of that happening. From there, we have triple Shark Cannon. Again, like I mentioned with Ghost Bell, this format is shaping up to be very graveyard dependent, and Shark Cannon is one of the best graveyard disruption cards the deck has access to, because you can banish any of your opponent's monsters, and of course if you have those 3 spells engraved, you can even choose to summon it back, which can be great if they have a Link monster in their graveyard as well. Now a choice I've decided to go with for the going second variant is triple Dark Ruler No More. This is just going to say that your opponent can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! With their monsters on board. So if you are going up against something like Drytron, where maybe they've set up some negates, or anything else that really just aims to set up that big first turn board, Dark Ruler No More is going to shut all of that off and allow you to make your plays. The reason I went with this over something like Droplets is simply because we don't have to discard the cards, which, depending on our hand, can make Droplets a little more difficult to really maximize. But honestly, either one would be a great choice, but Dark Ruler No More is also a great budget option if you don't have access to Droplets. Moving into the 2-ofs, we have double Afterburner. Afterburners is honestly one of the stronger Sky Striker cards, since it allows us to get rid of a monster, and if we have the 3 spells, also a spell or trap. Just a card we want to make sure we have access to. We definitely don't want to banish our only copy off of Desires, so 2 is the right number here. Speaking of Desires, we are playing 2 in the deck. Hot debate about this card in the Sky Striker community right now. A lot of people believe that maybe you shouldn't play it because Engage is back at 1. They fear banishing the Engage. But honestly, you should not be activating Desires as your first card if you don't already have the Engage in your hand. Or if you have to activate Desires in order to even make your hand playable, then it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So Desires is the correct choice in the deck in my opinion. Don't necessarily think you need 3 of, because you really don't want to be drawing Desires off Desires or seeing it too late into the game, so I think 2 is perfect here. Moving into the one-ofs, of course, we have the 1 Engage. It is back, guys. The deck is ready to go now. The deck was honestly doing pretty well without Engage, but even just having the 1 Engage in rotation in your deck, being able to recycle it with the triple Kagari is just amazing. This adds so much consistency to the deck and allows you to get those Pot of Greed plays once you have your graveyard set up as well. We are playing 1 Mecha Eagle booster as well. Because this is a going second variant, sometimes maybe our opponent's just going to try to interact with our Kagari or our Hayate, and Eagle Booster is going to allow us to make sure that the effect of whatever Sky Striker we have on board is going to get pushed through. And it can also be great later in the game when it also protects them from battle. We still have the 1 Hornet Drones. Again, this just kind of acts as another copy of Ray to make sure we can get our Link monsters in rotation. The 1 Multi-Roll, absolute must-have in the deck, as it's going to allow you to cycle through your graveyard striker cards in order to get multiple uses out of them. I would love to see this card maybe come back to 2 next, but hey, we got Engaged, so I'm not complaining. We also have the 1 Jamming Waves. This is great. I think we're actually going to see a lot more back row of this format than we have. We've been seeing this trend where back row has kind of been increasing almost every format, and I think this format's going to be no exception there. In addition, the fact that the secondary effect does not target when it comes to destroying a monster can also make it a great out to certain threats your opponent might have. Now, a card that I don't see too many people play, but I really like in the deck is Hercules Base. You're not really playing this for the draw effect off of that first ability, although honestly that can be great if your opponent has a couple monsters for you to run over. But the ability to recycle some of your Sky Striker cards back into the deck just allows you to play a little bit more loosely with your Link monsters. Once you've rotated through 1 or 2 Kagaris or Shizukus, being able to recycle them with Hercules Base is absolutely great and really adds to the longevity of the deck. Reason that you go with this over Avarice is because it doesn't have that graveyard requirement. It's going to be, it can be hard for you to get those 5 monsters in graveyard depending on how the game is going, and also because it is a Sky Striker card, Hercules Base is searchable, which is absolutely massive. We are playing 1 Mind Control. I like this because the deck is, like I said, it's a going second variant, so this can act as a disruption or a disruption eater as well if your opponent has some negates set up. If you activate Mind Control to, say, maybe try to steal their Borreload Savage Dragon, they're going to be forced to negate that with something which just ate through one of their other disruptions that they would have had. Or you can always use it to steal a Link monster or something to go ahead and climb up your Link ladder towards the access code talker. We are playing 1 Twin Twisters. Would love to play a second copy of this card, but I honestly cannot find space in the main deck, guys. You could maybe consider cutting that Mind Control, but I like the versatility there, so we're going with the 1 Twin Twisters. We do have Jamming Waves and Afterburners as well, so we're not really short on Spell and Trap Destruction, but I think Twin Twisters is actually going to be a great pick this format with the amount of back row we're expecting to see. Then we also have the 1 Terraforming. This is just going to help us find our Area 0, and the fact that it loads the graveyard with a spell is great. And then for the last card in the main deck, we have the 1 Rhoda. Just help us get to our Ray or our Rose, whatever we need. We definitely want to maximize that. Moving into the extra deck, we have the 1 Sky Striker Ace token. Gotta have this, guys, if you're playing Striker, gotta represent with that Sky Striker Ace token. Now, getting into the real extra deck monsters, we have triple Kagari. I've got to say, I absolutely love this artwork. I understand that there's the ultimate rare version of this card, but I think this is one of the best alternate arts in the game, which is why I went with that. But of course, you've got to play triple Kagari. She's the backbone to your extra deck and is going to make sure you can really abuse that one engage that Konami decided to give us. Of course, alongside Kagari, we're going to have triple Shizuku. Just going to get you that in-phase search for any Sky Striker spell not already in your graveyard. And I'm pretty sure most people know the combo of if you have multi-rolls active, you search out for Widow Anchor, activate it on the Shizuku, and then reset it immediately with a multi-roll to make sure you get a Widow Anchor in play. And then one of the best Sky Strikers that doesn't get enough love, Hayate. With Engage being at 1, and just in general, having Hayate give you the ability to dump any of your Sky Striker cards to the graveyard when she attacks, really allows you to reverse toolbox a lot of your deck, and she's just an absolutely great card for the deck. Another one you want 3 of because you will definitely go through the copies of these. Moving on, we have the one Kaina. Definitely the worst of the extra deck monsters, probably, but an absolute must because she does give you that life point gain. So if you find yourself in time, you can go for a game by increasing your life points and activating some Sky Striker cards. Definitely a good one of, but you'll never really need more than one of her. Then, of course, we've got the one Zek. This is great because since she's a Link 2 Sky Striker, if you have stolen your opponent's monster with something like Widow Anchor or Shark Cannon, you can link into the Zek to clear out your monster zone once you're done with their monster. And then you can obviously link the Zek off into any of your other Sky Striker aces. Again, not a card you really need more than one of because you can always recycle it with a Hercules base, but definitely one you want to at least have that one copy of. Then we are also playing the one Hita. Kagari is a fire monster. Let's be honest, every deck that plays hand traps is going to be playing Ash Blossom, which means Hita will very frequently be live, and she just helps you get into your Celine plays. We also have the one Halki Fibrix. Since you can make this with any of your tuners or a tuner that maybe you special summon from your opponent's graveyard of Shark Cannon, this will also help get you into your Celine by special summoning the Effect Veiler from your deck. No surprise at this point, but we have the one Celine. Just a great card for the deck. Being able to get into access codes so easily really allows this deck to have OTK potential that it didn't previously have, which is part of what I think really helps the deck be so strong even in today's metagame. And the last one, the Access Code Talker. I realize the price point on this card is absolutely insane right now, guys. It does really increase the power of the deck, but if you don't have access to it, doesn't mean you can't play the deck. You can substitute a Boral Sword Dragon in there and just adjust your plays a little bit and not be too bad off. But if you have the Access Code Talker, it's definitely worth the play because it's going to give you so much OTK potential. And that's going to wrap it up, guys. That's the Sky Striker profile for my going second build. I have messed around with some really interesting going first variants, so let me know if maybe that's something you want to see how the deck can play going first instead of going second. But let me know down in the comments. And we will be bringing you several other post-ban list profiles as well. Salamangreat just got Mirage Stallion back, so you can bet we have something working with that as well. But hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on our future content. Till next time, I'm Teague with Battle City Games.